Hello listeners, and welcome to KAZARAN Converses. My brand new song Benevolence with my metalcore band back in Adelaide, KAZARAN, has just come out, and you can hear that right now wherever you stream your songs and wherever you watch your videos, because it's also on YouTube as a lyric video which we've posted the other day, which is really, really exciting. So do get on that. It also features Falter from Adelaide, who was nice enough to feature on the song with us. It was so awesome working with him. Thank you so much again for featuring. Check it out, because yeah, he has got a boss of a voice. And today, I am doing Q&A 2 with KAZARAN. So, I have some questions and stuff here that some of you guys have asked me, which is really, really cool. I cannot wait to answer them and get into that. The last time I did a Q&A with KAZARAN was in April, I believe, of this year, and I'd been in London for maybe about 2 months at that point, and now it is the end of August, and I have been here for 6 months, and that is fucked. I cannot believe that I've been here for 6 months. That's insane. Even more crazy than that, this podcast has been going for 7 months. So, damn, like, holy shit, 7 months of KAZARAN Converses. Just wonderful. I'm so happy that, we've gotten as far as we have with the people that we've got. And for right now, it's really nice just to have a conversation and an episode where I can sort of come back and forth with you guys and tell you some stuff that maybe you want to know, and go from there, which is going to be really exciting. So let's crack into it. I've had a very big day at a brand new job, working in the middle of the English countryside, lifting things and drilling holes in things. So this is going to be a very fun time. At the end of the day conversation, I have my Madri with me, which is a beer that looks like it's Spanish, but actually it's brewed in Yorkshire. And lots of English people over here say that, Madri's is great Spanish beer. It's like, well, actually it's brewed in Yorkshire, so it's not incredibly Spanish. They might use certain Spanish tendencies in the beer itself to make it seem more Spanish, but it's brewed here. It's no big secret. It's brewed here. And I will tell every single person who comes up to me while I'm working at the bar and say, yeah, it's not brewed. It's not brewed in Spain. It's brewed here. And they're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, man, have a look. Check out your research. Anywho, let's launch into these questions, eh? Let's have a good time. So, we have got, from my good friend Stella in Mount Gambier in Australia, South Australia. What is it like recording in another country? She is referring to me recording vocals for KAZARAN with the new track Benevolence, which I did record over here in London. The first time I've ever recorded something overseas, which has been just like, it was a dream of mine for a long time to do that. And it was really cool doing it. It was also very scary because it was the first time that I've actually recorded in front of a bunch of people who I didn't know. And there was about, 3 random people in that room that obviously had to hear me scream and record and all that sort of thing. So that's actually quite intimidating. I've been so used to doing it around people I know, like Jack, Hartley, back in Adelaide, and Travis, Rory, my bandmates. Definitely Sam Upton, because he's been involved in a lot of my music. But yeah, doing that was like, it was very, it was quite confronting in a way. It was good though. I was able to talk to quite a few of them before we started and kind of get to know them all and have a nice conversation and that, which was really good. But it was so much fun to be able to do that and record those tracks and stuff. I think for me personally, my vocal performance is not incredible in my own opinion. And there were sort of like little sort of issues that we found with the recording and how it sort of came out and all that sort of stuff as well, that we had to sort of remedy around to fix up and to sort of do the best we can with what we had. And that's kind of what we did. And it still sounds as well as it does, which is good as well. So, it was obviously the first time that we've recorded vocals overseas and the rest of the song in Adelaide. So the cross overseas sort of recording of the song, it was our first kind of attempt at doing that. So now that we've done that, it's kind of cool that we can kind of be like, yeah, right. So we've seen what works and we know what we have to do next time, and we can sort of grow it all from there. So it's very exciting. But no, I've always wanted to sort of record music over here in London, even just like overseas in general. And to be able to do that is actually just awesome. It's a massive tick off the list of things in my life that I would like to do. And hopefully there's more recording to do over here and even across the world, which would be so sweet, just to go and do different things in different places and all the rest of it. So thank you for your question. It was wonderful, Stella. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Thoughts overall on the Crows season without having every opportunity to watch the games. So that is from my friend Sam and Sam Burns. He played guitar for KAZARAN while we were doing some live stuff, and I hope he still will do some guitar for us when we do another show, hopefully in March, because I am going to be coming back for his wedding, which is also going to be incredibly exciting. But yeah, so for the English listeners who don't know anything about the AFL, basically that's the game where there's a bunch of players on the field who run around wherever they like with a ball, and kind of just like, it's almost like a big free-for-all sport, and it's confusing. But there are a lot of goals. There's more goals in a game than you would get in any other game that you have over here. So that's sort of where the excitement lies, I suppose. But no, so the Adelaide Crows obviously my team that I've enjoyed watching since I was little. And obviously Sam's a good supporter of them as well. In my opinion of their season, so naive, because I didn't realize that I could actually watch games over here. Where I currently live and where I've been living for the last 6 months actually has Sky Sport, which shows AFL games every now and then, and I didn't really become accustomed to this until halfway through the season. So my team, the Crows, started much better at the start of the season and actually won a bunch of games that I just didn't see because I didn't think I could. And so I tuned in at the second part of the year and watched a bunch of games where they should have won and they came so close to winning and then they didn't win. So plenty of, shouting at the couch and remembering back to the old times of sitting at home with my dad and having some beers and just yelling at the TV, and my brother being there as well. And even watching it with obviously my friends Michael and Sam too. And even being at the game is an experience I miss a lot actually. But it was it was so cool once I actually was able to watch games and all that sort of stuff. So I think that, obviously in my opinion, it's the best season that we've had since 2017, and that's based purely on the fact that we finished higher on the ladder than we have in the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years. 6 years ish. So that's a massive positive. I think that even though obviously we didn't make the finals, it would have been amazing if we had made the finals. We probably should have made the finals, because I think we had 9 or 10 games where we lost by under a goal, which is just insane, especially because we were most of the times there against teams that were actually in the top 8 or in the top 4, who were obviously much higher than what we were. Melbourne, I think we lost to Collingwood twice by under a goal. And I think Brisbane was in there as well at some point too. And even obviously Sydney a couple of weeks ago with that whole goal thing was another opportunity that obviously sucked. But yeah, it's definitely a bitter pill to swallow. And I can understand especially how much more frustrating the fans who watch the games every week and who have been to the games and stuff every week must be as well. I've sort of been a bit free flowy this season, not really being able to tune in as much as I would like to. But even so, I'm still sort of kind of so happy and very, very impressed with everything that we have done this year. Because as I said, it's such a huge improvement. And so next year we should make the finals. There's really no excuse if we don't make the finals next year, because we've matched all those higher teams that were above us who are now playing finals. We've come within a goal of so many. We've got in front of so many of them, for majorities of the games that we had with them. And so I think, get another year out of the players who are starting to really do well, like Rankin and Rochelle and the forwards like McAdam and, all those players, even the ones down back. It's changed heaps. I can't think of all their names currently, but, get another year out of them. And I think they'll sort of click into a lot more of what they're doing. I think Nick's is in a good spot to stay doing what he's doing, because everyone seems to really enjoy his stuff and that, and he's progressing. They're progressing, they're getting better. So you don't want to interrupt that system. You want them to get used to the person that they're with and actually let him carry them on. And in the past, the Crows have been really bad with that. The fact that they've let a coach go after 2 years of not making the finals, they just shelve him straight away, and then the players have to learn somebody else now to learn from. And I guess obviously with any kind of sport, it's the same sort of thing. Like football over here, if you got a coach and you give him 3 seasons, then you cut him because he's terrible, he's not making any progress or whatever, then now someone else comes in, and sometimes that can be good, or sometimes the players now have to get used to somebody else being in their ear, and it's sort of, it's a bit of it's a dynamic that has to be kind of on the right point. But I think with them, they've got a really good dynamic, and they're starting to be really, really good. So I obviously miss the games a lot. I hope that I can see at least one game when I come back next year, because that'd be sweet. But no, I'm very happy with how they've been chugging along so far this year. And I think next year they'll be even better. So yeah, and it's good that I can kind of watch the games over here as well. Sky Sport's great. Sky Sport is fucking sweet, man. I mean, obviously you don't get every AFL game, but you get enough, and obviously no ads or anything like that either. So I can't remember the last time I watched free TV, and I don't think I ever will ever again, because it's just it's so out of my system now to watch free TV. But even so, the next one is, who was your favourite podcast guest so far, and why is it me? What a great question from my good friend Josh McCauley. Of course you're my favourite, Josh. He is the man who's been photographing me for many, many years with wrestling and KAZARAN stuff and KAZARAN stuff. And if you see a photo of me that looks anywhere near professional, most of the time it's Josh who was taking it. So if anyone wants Josh to take photos of you, please go to him, because he will do some good shit. And he makes videos now too, actually. So, you know, he can make you a video and stuff and all that kind of thing. So don't be afraid. Go ask Josh. But no, obviously the podcast I did with Josh was awesome. I think you were like the fourth or fifth person that I had a podcast with back when I was in Adelaide, and I had only just decided that I wanted to do a podcast, and so I just started banking episodes just relentlessly, and that just meant driving to people's houses or driving to their studios and just chatting with them about stuff, which was lots of fun. So, yeah, no, I've had so many really cool guests, and it's been so fucking cool to just even be able to do this, and the fact that I'm still doing it, and even now at the moment it's progressing in a very strange kind of way, that I guess the listeners and people will kind of start to kind of see, they might catch on to in the next couple of weeks with the more guests that I have, but yeah, it's sort of progressed in a quite an exciting way, and I'm very happy with all the people that I've had on so far. Obviously, I've had chemistry with some that have been so much better than others, but that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy those ones. They were still really, really good and still awesome. I mean, whenever I have someone on, it's because I want to know more about them and learn more about what they do, and because I have an interest in them, and I'm like, yeah, this person sounds cool. I want to talk to them more about themselves. But yeah, I mean, even like the earlier ones I did with, I mean, off the top of my head, like the one I did with Rory was so cool, because that's just, two friends just literally having a banter chat for 50 minutes without even really having a track of the fact that a podcast is going on. And I had that same energy with Tosh. But, that's because we've been talking and doing that kind of thing for years, like in and out of bands. Well, in a band, but like obviously like, from high school all the way through from 9 years, like that as well. And so the online stuff was always quite fun too. Like the stuff that I'm doing at the moment, it's allowed me to literally talk to anyone in any space of the world, which means that, if I ask, sometimes I'll get a yes or I'll get a no. If I get a yes, that's like the best thing in the world. If I get a no, it's like, all right, it's fine, I don't care. Like, some people are going to tell you no. So after a while, you're just going to be like, yeah, okay, you don't want to do it, it's chill, I'll ask somebody else. But like, yeah, I think one of the best yeses I got was from the podcast that is currently my favorite, and that was the one with Emmy, because that just all came together just so well and kind of unexpectedly as well. And it was the one that I was the most nervous for, because it's weird. I get nervous before podcasts start. When I was going over to people's houses when I first started to do it, I wasn't really that nervous because they were my friends, and I was basically just going over to their house and just having a chat with them about life, pretty much. And most of the time it was their life, so it wasn't too difficult or it wasn't too hard, and it was always fascinating to do so. But over here, talking to people online, there's always that moment when the Zoom sort of starts to connect and you kind of get a little bit of oh God, I hope this goes well. Like, I don't know. You get those sort of like those little tingles and those butterflies, and you're kind of like, oh man, like I really hope this goes okay, because I'm sort of panicking right now, especially with people that you don't know. And I've done podcasts now with people that I've literally never met before. Kristen Adams, the one that was literally the lady that I talked to most recently, who's absolutely wonderful. I'd never met her until that podcast, and that was a huge stepping stone for me, because that's a situation I've never been in, to have a 30-minute conversation with somebody that you've never met, and it was so cool and it went so well. But the Emmy one is currently my favorite, purely for the fact that she was mentioned in this podcast by kind of other people, and the fact that she has such an influence in the Australian music scene. And yeah, it just came literally from her sharing a reel that I did with Luke Gagnon from Down and Out after she was on their song Loss and Exposure, which is an amazing song. You should listen to it. And then after that happened, I was like, oh shit, no way, this is crazy. And then, I just decided I'd be like, hey, why don't you ask her? And then before my brain could say, oh, I don't know, I don't know if that's a good idea, I'd already written the message, I'd already sent it. So it was already done. And as I said, when they say yes, and she said yes, I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. And the cool thing about it was that it was like a 2-week plan in progress. So, you know, we had to like sort of schedule time to both do it because we were both quite busy, but it was like a planned thing for about 2 weeks until it finally started to happen. And I still have a video of myself before the podcast started, just recording myself, just saying like, I'm about to have a chat with this girl, Emmy, and I am freaking out. I hope it goes well. And the best thing about it was that as soon as she came on the screen and started talking and I started talking to her, it just clicked. Like it was just easy. I have a big sister and she now has 2 daughters. So I'm like, you know, a 2-time uncle, which is awesome. But if I had a second big sister and that big sister just liked all the same shit that I liked, that is pretty much how I look at my conversation with Emmy. It was like having a conversation with someone like that. And it was so cool and so easy and so flowy that it was just so enjoyable. But yeah, as I said, I've liked a lot of the podcast guests that I've had on. They're all just so awesome. Even like, you know, Dash a Day and Aliki Katriou, so cool. Like just amazing the fact that I ever got that either of them even said yes to wanting me to like, you know, have conversations with them. But currently Emmy is my favorite. But as I said, we're only 32 podcasts in now, so there's plenty more to come. And I still love yours too, Josh. Okay, we have got... if you had a chance to make a song with one musician, dead or alive, who would it be? From my good friend Dasha Day, who is currently in Dubai, that I'm very jealous about. She got to ride a camel today, and I was like, wow, that looks sick. On the beach too, and like, you know, it's proper sunny over there, like real sun and just like awesome right now. So I'm super jealous. I'd love to be in Dubai at some point. I mean, I can't remember, no. I don't think I've ever been in Dubai. I'm trying to think when the plane came over, if I was in Dubai or not. I think I was, but maybe just in the airport. But either way, it's a very good question. Let me think about that myself. There's so many musicians that I love, and that's just like, damn, man. Like even behind me, like literally not that direction, this direction, I've got like, you know, to mention Jonathan Davis, Courtney LaPlante on like just up there because they're sort of my big influences at the moment. And a lot of them have been my influences forever. I would love to do a song with Tim Minchin, but I don't think I would be clever enough to go along with his quirkiness. Obviously, I would love to have to do on Courtney because she's got an amazing voice, and you know I try and mirror my own clean vocals off of hers. And even like, John Davis would be an absolute dream to have a song with him because like, cool, man, I just even when I have like the dreadlocks and stuff, we have like the whole blackface going on, like that'd be so cool. Even it's really hard to say. I think one that I would really like to do is I would love to perform with Howard Jones or have him on a track. Just from the old Killswitch Engage days, just because they were such a huge influence to me just growing up, and I absolutely loved his vocals, and like, yeah, that'd be an absolute dream to just sort of like, you know, perform with him or like, you know, write a song with him or have an influence of him on, especially on a KAZARAN song, because like, you know, obviously we are born and bred like Killswitch mad fans. So yeah, that'd be freaking awesome to do. I would absolutely love to do that. That'd be sick. But yeah, even like, I wonder who I could do. Like, Dad, it's such a cool question. It really makes one think, especially when one's mind is kind of empty at the moment and it's not really circulating a lot of brilliant ideas. I would love to make a song with Howard Jones. That'd be so cool. But again, there are so many different options. Again, even John Davis. I'd love to make a song with John Davis. That'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it? That'd be so cool. I'd love that. This has been really cool. I've enjoyed answering these questions that I got. And even doing this. I was very busy this week doing another KAZARAN review, which you can actually see right now with Mish Sharma of Torizon. So that was a lot of fun doing that with her, speaking through their new song Damaged, which you can obviously hear on your streaming services and watch their video on YouTube as well. And you can watch the KAZARAN review, which is available on YouTube right now, so you can see that as well. And yeah, this has been really fun. And yeah, I'm enjoying my time over here still, and it's really, really good. Thank you as well, obviously, for listening to the podcast continuously. It helps, and it's you know, it makes me feel really happy that people are listening and like to sort of, you know, hear me talk to people that I haven't met and people that I have met that I don't know much about that I want to learn more about. So it's exciting, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in to this short episode, and I do appreciate you guys listening. So thank you so much. Next week there'll be a brand new guest. I won't tell you who it is, but you'll find out soon enough. So come back next week, tune in, and leave a rating and review for the podcast if you would like. Subscribe to me on YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And I'll have more for you next week on KAZARAN Converses. Next week, new podcast, new guest. Make sure you're tuning in. I'll see you then.